Right, let me get started. Okay, last week I started talking about Mastery, the book by George Leonard. Now, why mastery? Because if you look at the title of his whole book, he's actually talking about the keys to success and long-term fulfillment. So mastery is a lifelong project, and we all want to succeed. You feel different when you succeed. When you succeed, you can help other people. And it's about long-term fulfillment. You want to feel fulfilled. Let me just summarize what the book is about. Okay, the definition of mastery is a mysterious process during which what is at first difficult becomes progressively easier and more pleasurable through practice. If there's any sure route to success and fulfillment in life, it is to be found in the long-term, essentially goalless process of mastery. To practice for the sake of practice itself, not for the result. And he says, George Leonard says, all significant learning is composed of brief spurts of progress followed by long periods of work where it feels as if you're going nowhere. There are no experts, only learners. So the master is a master at learning. The term mastery itself is very elusive and vague, yet it is easily recognizable. You cannot pinpoint what makes someone a master in his or her given field, but you can easily identify a master when you see one. Achieving mastery is not a one-time thing or a goal that you can reach. It is a continuous process, a journey where the journey itself is the destination. Okay, we talk about the journey and the destination, but here mastery is a journey where the journey itself is the destination. The path of mastery is not for the goal-oriented people, as it involves periods of long plateaus. So today I want to be talking about this plateau that George Leonard talks about and that you will experience on your journey to mastery. Plateaus are periods where you will see no progress or any significant improvement happening. Sorry, someone is... Sorry about that. Spam calls. Plateaus are periods where you will see no progress or any significant improvement happening. If you're putting in the work expecting some results in a specific duration, then you will be disappointed. Most of the time, it will be like practice with little results to be seen. After a while, something will click and you will make enormous progress in a short span. But you will again be meeting with another plateau after seeing that progress. This time though, the level of the plateau will be higher than the previous plateau. In the master's journey, plateaus are the learning ground where you have to be willing to spend most of your time. You have to practice diligently, striving to hone your skills to attain new levels of competence. The plateau is where all these efforts will add up over time, and it will culminate in a compound effect, and you will see huge progress in a short duration. And we understand compound effect when we talk about the slight edge, when we talk about exponential growth in a business involving multiplication. Okay. Let me share with you a video that explains this concept of a plateau. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. So this is actually done by this guy Akash, who runs a fitness website called Strength and Gain. Okay, so let me play the video.
When I first got into lifting weights, I couldn't stay motivated at all. I made sure my lifting routine and nutrition were pretty much perfect, but I couldn't understand why I wasn't progressing. I would lift my personal record one week, then perfectly stick to my routine and nutrition, and I would come back 1 or 2 weeks later and guess what? Lift the same weight or even less. This literally discouraged me to a point where often I would completely disregard the gym for a few weeks because I felt like I needed to change everything about my diet and routine. And then I read Mastery by George Leonard, one of my biggest role models and a person who knew a thing or two about mastery. And he said, look, the reason you feel that way is because of what you've been taught. My mommy told me, hey, just work hard, you'll get better and better every day. And I bought into that. So the mastery curve in my head looked like this. I thought over time I would see constant progress. And Leonard said, that's the stupidest, most unrealistic thing you could expect on your path. Your path is actually going to look something like this. And here you have the most important idea of a plateau. Most of your journey on your path to mastery is spent on that plateau, and it is after dedicated time on this plateau that you see progress and possibly even slight regress afterwards. But the big idea is that the new plateau is higher than your previous one, and that is how real growth happens. So I've literally used this idea with everything ever since I first read Leonard. Do you think I look at how my channel is doing today compared to yesterday or a week ago? Why? Why would I do that? I look at, is my routine and nutrition optimized? Or in this case, am I offering as much value as I possibly can? And am I constantly trying to improve my content for my viewers? And the answer is yes, so there's no reason for me to lose motivation when my channel isn't doing better than it was, I don't know, yesterday or a week ago, because I know that in 6 months my channel will be kicking ass compared to today, and I will be on yet another plateau, diligently putting in the work to get to the next one.
Okay, grateful to Akash for that video. So now, another person that that has discussed about mastery, a guy called Jeff Watts, okay, says that the plateau forces the cultivation of what he calls the 4 Ps. Okay, let me share this with you. Okay, the 4 Ps. Okay, so Jeff Watts talks about the 4 Ps: practice, patience, persistence, and perseverance. So practice is practice, repetition. Okay. Patience is cultivated while you are practicing. Persistence, which is what makes you get up every day to do the practice. And perseverance is doing this day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year after year. So Jeff Watts says the 4 Ps represent the process and the skill sets that are required. Some people have very little patience. Some people are not very persistent. They quit a lot. They start a lot, and they never get a lot of forward momentum. Okay. George Leonard says you have to be willing to spend most of your time on a plateau to keep practicing, even when you seem to be getting nowhere. There are different phases in a learning process. At the beginning, you might encounter brief spurts of progress and you feel good about yourself. But that first step is inevitably followed by a slight decline and then a long plateau. Over time, the plateau gets higher and higher, as you saw in the video. So the secret is to discipline yourself to stay on that plateau and practice regularly until another spurt of progress occurs. So this book by George Leonard tells me that when I see this plateau, it's very normal. I remember when I first came into the network marketing business, my mentor, Ong Hock Siew, was a co-author of my book, The Financial Planner's View of Network Marketing. He talked about the plateau. He says you will hit the plateau for a long time, and you have to be able to stay and grow on that plateau. So to take the master's journey, you have to practice diligently, striving to hone your skills to attain new levels of competence. Practice your newly learned movement until you get it into your muscle memory. Okay, muscle memory. With enough practice, the movement becomes automatic. You've heard the saying, repetition is the master of skill. Okay, not a gift, but repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill. This is why you need to practice, even if it seems to lead you nowhere, because it takes some time to make the conscious unconscious. It takes some time to make the conscious unconscious. George Leonard says, when you start to learn a new skill, you do have to think about it, and you have to make an effort to replace old patterns of sensing, movement, and cognition with new. But once it becomes automatic, it is possible for you to do things. Return a scorching tennis serve, play a guitar chord, ask directions in a new language, stand up paddling without worrying just how you do them. To make progress, you need to stay on the path and practice diligently. You focus more on the process than on the results. Instead of being frustrated while on the plateau, you learn to appreciate and enjoy it just as much as you do on the upward surges. So remember, you practice primarily for the sake of practice itself. That's why it's so important to make the journey happy, fun, because it's the journey that's long. The plateau is long, but you want to enjoy that journey. Now, finally, I just want to share with you that those of us who were on the Readers Retreat recently, we tried stand-up paddling for the first time. Okay, let me share with you. Okay, so that's us. Okay, so we are learning how to. This is lesson 1. So we're on the ground where we are familiar. Okay, being briefed, and of course, very soon we're out there in the sea. Okay, so not all of us can stand immediately. So you see Chong here, he's still at the sitting stage. Joshua is at the kneeling stage. Then most of us are at the wobbling stage, okay, standing up there. Okay, yeah, so that's stand-up paddling. Now, you know, God designed man to stand on solid ground. Some of us even have trouble with this. So in the sea, with movement, which is 3-dimensional, you can appreciate that the journey to mastery is going to be long, okay? And it's going to be and how important practice is on that journey. Okay, so it's not a process you want to rush, because you can get hurt, okay, and you can get lost out in the sea. You can drift out in the sea. So you can understand that if you love the process, if you love the sea, you love the sun, you love the company, you love the others' ice cream after the sea, then it will make the journey to mastery more pleasurable, okay, provided you wear Sunride 50. Okay. Now, next week, we will meet 3 people: the dabbler, the obsessive, and the hacker. These are 3 types of people who have difficulty getting onto the path to mastery. As you meet these 3 people, this will help us develop the skills necessary to love the plateau and to use the plateau to move forward to mastery.